Stand by 5, 4, 3, 2.
Tim Tebow has returned to the NFL. We will discuss the impact he can make for Philly and the story of a former big league pitcher who is now helping to teach the game of baseball to the next wave of players. That's all ahead. Game On starts right now. Welcome to Game On. We're a show about sports and faith, so where else would we begin the program but with Tim Tebow? Tebow time is back, this time in Philly. The man hasn't played in an NFL game since 2012, and yet few players create more buzz than the former Heisman winner. And buzz is not something Eagles coach Chip Kelly tends to shy away from. According to multiple reports, Tebow is signing a one-year deal with Philadelphia for the league minimum. The Eagles had worked Tebow out last month, and now they add him to a crowded quarterback position. Philly now has Sam Bradford, Mark Sanchez, Matt Barkley, and Tebow all at that position, so it will be interesting to see how that all plays out. Outside of his college glory days at Florida, Tebow is best remembered for his magical 2011 in Denver. That season, he led the Broncos to the playoffs and even helped win their first-round game in overtime over the Steelers. Following that season, he was shipped out to the Jets, where he threw 8 passes in 2012 and hasn't played in a regular season game since. The NBA playoffs got underway this weekend, and it's a race to see which team can outlast the other. Despite being the higher-seeded team and having home court advantage, the Clippers went into their first round with the Spurs as the decided underdogs. Clippers sure seemed to use that perceived slight as motivation in Game 1 as they rocketed out to a double-digit lead in the first quarter. Let's go to the third. Blake Griffin setting the tone. He was on acceleration mode, driving and throwing down. Clippers up 6. Later in the third, Chris Paul, sweet wraparound pass to Griffin. Clippers up 10. Griffin had 26 points on the night. In the fourth, Clippers up by 14. Griffin to J.J. Redick for the corner 3. Later, look out Paul, cutting his way down the lane like a boss. Huge night for Paul. He finishes with 32 points, and the Clippers win in that game. In the East, LeBron and the Cavs opening their series against the Boston Celtics, but LeBron wouldn't be the star in this one. Instead, it was Kyrie Irving dropping 30, including this 3-ball to beat the halftime buzzer. LeBron, sans headband, would finish with 26 and 7, and the Cavs win it 113-100. It was the team's first playoff win since May of 2010, and that team was also led by LeBron James, and that win happened to also be against the Celtics. I think we've all noticed that the expectation in today's society to be accepting of others, tolerant, and if you have a confrontation, just talk it out over a frappe and a scone. Well, in the game of baseball, it doesn't quite work out that way, as evidenced by this past weekend series between the A's and the Royals. Let's see it all up. It all began on Friday night. That's when A's Brett Lawrie went in spike high on Royals shortstop Alcides Escobar. Escobar would be injured on the play and wouldn't return in the series. Lawrie said it was just a hard play, trying to break up the double play. The Royals disagreed, however, and on Saturday, Yordano Ventura responded by plunking Lawrie with a 100-mile-per-hour fastball. Ventura would then be ejected. Now to Sunday, first inning, and this time A's pitcher Scott Kazmir drills Lorenzo Cain. Kazmir would receive just a warning. Royals manager Ned Yost and pitching coach Dave Island disagreed, so they were both ejected. Then later in the game, Kelvin Herrera threw at Lawrie, and he, along with 2 other Royals players, were tossed. So 5 ejections for KC. The bench is cleared in every game. Oh, by the way, the Royals took a 2-3 series lead. Over to Liberty Sports, and over the weekend, the number 2 seeded Liberty men's tennis squad continued their quest to capture the Big South title with a quarterfinal matchup against number 7 seeded UNC Asheville. After falling behind 1-0 following the doubles point, Liberty rebounded in singles play to down the Bulldogs 4-2. Now Liberty advances to the semifinals round. Meanwhile, head coach Chris Johnson was named Big South Coach of the Year, and Liberty number 2 single star Sam Matheson earned a spot on the Big South Conference Men's Tennis All-Conference Singles Squad. Coming up, a former NFL player visits Liberty and discusses why he found his greatest success after playing football. And a young soccer player who is rising above religious persecution in Pakistan joins us. Hear her story when Game On returns. That's exhausting. Oh my. Welcome back. Liberty Christian Academy is a high school in Lynchburg, Virginia that's turned out some really good baseball players in recent years. No doubt part of the reason is due to who's leading that squad. Randy Tomlin, he's a former Liberty Flame, and he is now trying to help kids fulfill their own baseball dreams.